Okay, let's see. I want to make sure that people can get here. Okay. Okay, send an email. Okay. I'll just wait until some people get on. I'm going to make sure that the audio is playing in mono. There we go. That should fix it. I'll give a couple minutes for people to join in. All right. Hope everyone's doing well. If anyone can hear me. If anyone's out there, I'm going to take a minute and upload the Project 2 guidelines onto Canvas. Okay. Oh, hey, Patrick. Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, I don't see you, but you see me, which is the next best thing. All right. Hope everyone's surviving and doing as best they can. I think we've all kind of gotten a little bit used to the new normalcy to a degree. Let's see, new file. Let's see, Project 2. As they say in France, Project 2. All right. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Anyone else? Okay, good. We got a few people. Nick, Daniel, Eric, and Patrick so far. Thank you guys for chiming in. Good to see you all. All right. Well, in that case, we'll just get started. All right. So quick update. I just finished today grading Project 1. Some really good stuff. I was actually very, very impressed by your work. Which is no surprise, but it was really great, great work all around. I thought the research components were really well done, researching the origin of your tunes. And I thought overall it was just really a fun project to look at and hear you guys play over the tunes, and also some really, really strong analysis of the harmony. Sorry, I got COVID hair. But anyways, I was impressed by the level of analysis and by the historical context portion of it, and then just by your ability to take those concepts and come up with educational ideas, as well as integrating those concepts into your improv. So check out the Canvas assignment page for feedback. I gave feedback on all the different parts. And And yeah, like I said, not really a lot of negative in the project, which is always really nice. So good work with that. And I hope you got a lot out of it. I know for me, sometimes it's just useful to have a template by which to learn a new tune and to go through that process really thoroughly a couple times so that it kind of becomes part of your learning process. And I always learn a lot about the history of the tunes as well. Like, you know, just these little historical facts that we don't really think about until we do the research. They're always really kind of interesting nuggets of information. So, all right. So, we got your modal jazz assignment due today, and then we have the final project. So, we have basically up until, let's see, when did I say that was due? Monday or Friday? Let's see. Let's take a look. I'm going to pop over to my shared screen and to the adjusted schedule. And oh yeah, so you have until Friday, May 22nd. So essentially you have 2 full, mostly full work weeks to do this final project. And next week is obviously final exams week. And so that'll be a week where you get to just work on the project as much as you need to. So today we're going to go over that project, and then we're going to hit the topic of transcribing, because that's one of the big things with the project. So let's see. Cool. All right. Let me know if you have questions along the way. As always, would love to see, anything you have to ask or share. So let's see. All right. So if you go to your dashboard now on Canvas, you should see your jazz improvisation folder. You should see at the very bottom now there is a project 2 final project. There's the Dropbox, and here is the description. So this is a really fun project, in my opinion. And again, I think we learn the best when the project has a lot of flexibility to reflect our own interests. That's my personal opinion. When we have the ability to kind of choose a topic within the project that interests us more than others, like you can pick a transcription that you really have always wanted to do, or an artist you really like, or something that's really challenging for you, or if it's your first time doing a transcription, or one of your first times doing a transcription, maybe something that's just simple and easy to kind of follow along with. All right, so again, I hope that these projects aren't too stressful, but more so just enjoy the process as much as you can. So there's 2 options on this project. One is the transcription option, where you're going to basically do a transcription of a solo by ear, write it out, written analysis, and then presentation would be the third part of this. And I think what we should probably just do is have you submit a video presentation that I can just watch. So, 10 minutes probably is good. And then option 2 is a lesson plan. And it's got 3 components as well: topic research, written lesson, and presentation. So this has an option for more of a lesson plan, kind of music ed application, because I think, with this, one of the reasons that I did that was because, with a school like UW Eau Claire, a large portion of our student body is doing music ed, and a large portion is doing like performance or other things like that. And so we have these two streams. And so you can kind of choose which one you think would serve your current needs the best. So if you are really wanting to take this class partially because you want to go into, teaching a high school or middle school jazz band or combo, and be able to handle it, and to have some cool ideas for it, then maybe you want to do a lesson plan. Or if you want to challenge yourself to do a transcription, then that's could be the option for you. So let's just go over each one of these. So option one, transcription. So the first thing is you're going to select a jazz solo recording, learn it by ear, and notate it on staff paper. Doesn't matter to me if it's on digital software or if it's handwritten. Okay. So then the second thing is, let's see. That's kind of redundant, but notate the solo on staff paper from the beginning of the solo to the end of the solo with accurate rhythms, and that's something we're going to go over today. Write chord symbols for the tune above the notated solo in order to analyze the improvised material. So essentially, after you've written out the notes, you're going to put the chords from the lead sheet on top, and then you can look at what's going on harmonically. Identify 3 licks or patterns that you'd like to. So yeah, we'll go through all this, but basically you're going to extract 3 licks or 3 patterns from the solo that you're going to use to practice. And then part 2, written analysis. You're just going to give a little bit of history and context about the recording and the player, some general observations about the solo using musical descriptors, short descriptions of each of the 3 bracketed patterns that you picked. How do they use scales, chromatic passing tones, scale degrees, or other different ways of describing it. And then part 3, you're just going to present your project on a video. So you're gonna basically play the transcription recording along with reading along with the transcription. And I think maybe I'll just send out some specific video guide. I think we can do away with a lot of this because I can just listen to the YouTube videos or whatever. But a brief description of major musical elements, and then demonstration of 3 bracketed patterns and how they can be applied to your own improvisation. So I'm trying to make this as practical as possible. And so you can kind of walk away having some good stuff to use for your own solos. So for the lesson plan, part 1 is topic research. So you're going to come up with a name for your lesson, a topic you'd like to teach. So my examples here: teaching the blues scale using transcription, teaching modes using so what. So you can kind of use this template, teaching whatever concept using this tool. So you have like the concept, and then you have the method by which you're teaching it. Write a minimum 1-page description of the topic by researching some of the books, videos, repertoire, other tools that may be used to teach this particular concept. So any type of YouTube video that's kind of an instructional video on this topic, books, online blogs, resources, articles, just kind of any resources that are already out there that you can find. You can kind of summarize that, and what that does is it helps you to know what's already been done on the subject, and maybe you can use some of those topics to your advantage. So let's see. Cool. Quick question about the transcription. When we record the transcription, do you want the actual recording in the background while we perform, or just us? Okay, so I would say perform it along to the recording. Good question. Okay. So Let's see. Back to this. Okay, so you got the topic research. Then you have a written lesson plan. So you'll write a minimum one-page lesson plan with the following components: title and topic, who is the intended audience. So basically who, where, why, and then a step-by-step sequence of instruction or plan. So the who is, who might your students be essentially? Is this something for a middle school jazz band, or it could be a combination? It could be, hey, this would be appropriate for, middle school, high school, or college. Or it could be, this is a lesson designed for people who have never played jazz before. Or it could be, this is for an advanced student. So I'll let that be your choice, whatever you want to tailor your lesson to. And so that might be a useful thing if your goal in your career is to become a middle school band director. Then maybe this would be a good time where you could say, how could I teach improv for the first time to a middle school jazz student? Or how could I use Blue Monk to demonstrate how to play over the blues with the blues scale, or something like that. Again, the sky's the limit as far as what you want to do with that. You have a lot of freedom with that. And then where is this intended to be taught? For example, is it when you're teaching a jazz ensemble, a private lesson, a clinic, or more of a classroom setting like what we're in now? And then why is this an important topic or concept? So I just think thinking critically about why you're teaching and how you're teaching and who's your audience. I mean, and you all know this, but that's just what you have to think about with any kind of education. So, and then you're just going to give me a step-by-step lesson plan, kind of bullet point lesson plan that just kind of lays out the structure of how you're going to use the time of the lesson. All right. And then the presentation, again, just a video where you can kind of almost act out your lesson plan. All right, I see Hans has joined the chat. Hello, Hans. Good to see you. Okay, all right. So, any questions about the syllabus, let me know. I'll probably send some clarifications out because we have the unique situation of not being able to meet in person. So the presentations, I'll give you instructions on what to record for a video on that. But besides that, I think it should be straightforward. And again, we're all in this kind of whatever crazy situation where everything shifted online at the last minute, and we're kind of left with it. So my default is to just give as much leeway as possible. So if something's a little off with some of my expectations or whatever, but it's mostly a good project and you did the work, I'm not going to nitpick. Okay. So don't stress about it too much. As long as you do the work, you earnestly, put in the time, you're going to be fine. Okay. So, all right. So let's kind of go through the, I think I still want to stay on that page. Let's go through this project here. So we're going to select a recording of a jazz solo to transcribe or learn by, same thing as saying learn by ear. So I'm going to pick one right now. Let's go with something kind of straight ahead. How about, we'll go something Hank Mobley. I think Hank Mobley is a good example in general of pretty transcribable musician. So let's see. All right. Cool. All right, so this is just a blues. So that'll be a good one to do. So, all right. So I'm going to get my horn here. And all right. So let's go through and just kind of go through what you do when you transcribe. So if this is new to you, that's totally cool. This might be a good first, crack at it. And again, we all start somewhere. So, if you are new to it, it's going to take some time. And even if you're not new to it, it's really going to take a lot of time. And I think that's one thing I can't stress enough. And those of you who have transcribed know this, but transcribing is not a fast process usually. It's usually very painstaking, and you kind of take, a million tries to get a line, and then you finally figure it out, and then you figure out you've only gotten through 2 seconds of the music. So let's just go through this, and I'll just kind of show you what I like to do. You know what? I'm going to pick a different song. Hank Mobley. How about Soul Station? That's a good one. So I'll skip through the melody. All right, cool. So that's the beginning of the solo. Got to change neck straps because that was my alto neck strap and it doesn't quite work on tenor. All right. So here we go. So basically what the gist of it is, you just try to figure out line by line, what the notes are. So okay, so number 1, what's the first note of that? Ba. So I like to sing it. You might find it on a piano, or you might just try to sing it and then find it on your instrument. But I like to listen to it and then stop the recording. All right, so it might take you longer to find that. That's fine. I've done a lot of transcriptions, so it more or less gets easier as you go. But if I remember the first times I did it, and even still sometimes, like it takes me forever to get a certain lick or pattern. So don't stress if it takes you a long time. It might take me not as long when I'm demonstrating it, just because, again, like anything, I've done it repetitively enough where it starts to become an easier process as you go. And you start to hear the same cliches over and over again, so you start to identify them faster. But let's... Ba, 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 ba. Ba, da, da. Okay, so I'm kind of just figuring these out as I go. Now, you can just memorize it and play it back by ear, or you can write it out, which is the goal of this project. So let's open up a new Sibelius file, and we're just going to, I'm going to show you how it works to write it out. Again, I will stress to you that this is not an easy part of the process. I will say, as I played this, I found out it was in the key of E flat major, concert pitch, Soul Station, Hank Mobley. All right. So let's listen to that again so we can refresh. All right, so we know those are the notes, and so let's see, make sure it's the transposing score here. So if we were to just put the notes, and maybe this actually would help sometimes it helps to put the notes down first. So we didn't assign any real specific rhythms to them. It was just stream of consciousness, note after note. So that way we can have the notes down and then figure out the rhythms later. So that's one method that people might benefit from, is just getting the notes and then getting the rhythms. So what I like to do to get the rhythms now is count out loud while I listen and see where things land. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So 1 and 2. So that means the first note is on the and of excuse me, the and of 1. So 3, 4, 1 and. So I'm gonna start a new line so I can just so I can just write down the specific transcription. Okay. Now, before I get too far into this process, I want to say that transcription is often one of the things that people have lots of questions about, and so I would encourage you to ask those questions on the chat, because it really does help to ask those questions, and it can be things like, do you tend to do rhythm first or notes first, or are there any tools or whatever? And of course I can get to a lot of those, just stream of consciousness, but it helps me direct my focus towards what you are wondering if you ask. So please don't be shy. All right. So 3, 4, 1 and da, 1 and da da 1 and. So triplet. So it's a triplet. Da 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 da. Triplet, da. So by virtue of the fact that swing is in triplets already, it's already do do da. So that's already going to be the triplet on 3, or the third triplet of that beat. And then we're going to need to make this into a triplet. Da 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 da. So now we're already through those 4 notes. So let's see what the rhythm is after that. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Now, the trick is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 notes there. Bum bum. So the A, F is the one that's on beat 1 of the next measure. So I like to kind of find the arrival point when I'm not sure what the rhythm is and put that there first. So now I have to figure out where this, and that go. Ba da 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 da. All right, so that's tricky. So how many notes is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. 6. All right, so somehow we need to figure out how to phrase that. So here we go. Let's listen again. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. So I would say it's kind of an out of time, kind of stretching and pulling the beat. But I would say we could just kind of put it in triplets. Because sometimes one of the trickiest things that you'll find in transcribing a jazz solo is that the time pushes and pulls, and sometimes it doesn't have a clear sense of what the rhythm is. And so this would be one of those cases where you might actually just bracket it. You might just say lay back and then put a little like a bracket on top like that, which you can do in the software probably, or if you're doing it by hand, that's easy. So yeah, that's what I would probably do. So now we have 2, 3, 4. So we know to kind of lay those behind the beat. So there we go. There's our first lick. So now we can kind of take that away. 4, 1. Ba, ba, yum. So it seems like some kind of 1, 5, 1. So let's just kind of get that. So to me it sounds like 5, 4, 2, 1. Now one tool we can use to get there and to double check or whatever if there's a fast run like that is the speed of the recording. So like on YouTube, which I like because it's free, you can do this. It's pretty cool, and I use this a lot when I transcribe. Playback speed, if you go under the settings here, playback speed, and then you can go to 0.75 or half speed. I think 0.75 is the best for like slowing it down but not losing audio quality. So let's see. 3, 4. Ba-da-da-dum. So I'm still hearing the same thing. So let's figure out the rhythm now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Da-da-da-da. 1, da-da-da. Okay, so triplet. Da-da-da-da. So I'm going to put it on beat 1. Okay, and we'll see what's going on there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so that's a triplet. Da da dum. So I'm gonna again sing it. Bum bum bum. 4, 3, 1. And again, that might take you longer to get. I've just kind of been through this process enough times where you start to get, a little quicker at it. So, okay. Da 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 ba da da do da da. So that sounds to me like triple, triplet, triple, do do dot. All right, so here we go. Let's just make sure that's right. Well, so a lot of times I'll just do it in little chunks like this, and then I'll go through and play what I have to just make sure it's right. So Seems pretty good. And then as you get better at this, you'll start to, catch more little details. So like as I go through, I'm like, oh, well, there seems like a little grace note there. So there we go. Ba-da-da-da-da. 1, 2, 3, and a 1, 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a. So that means 1, 2, 3, and a 4. So I'm gonna bum. So this is the other way you can do. You can do rhythm first. So you can go 1 da da da, triplet da 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 da. Oops. Ba da da da. Ba da 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 da. So okay. So this one I'm gonna try to figure out. It's a little bit of a trickier line here. All right. Ba da da da. Da 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 da. This is a spot where I might slow it down just to make sure I'm hearing those lower notes because they're so fast. 1 da da 2 3. Ba-dum. Okay, so those are my first two notes. I'll jot that down before I forget. Ba-dum. Ba-da-da. Okay, so that's E flat G A on tenor. And that kind of sounds like was it Kokory Forest or something, or Forest of Mystery or something from Zelda. Anyways, so yeah, I'll save it as Soul Station. All right, so let me just type something in the chat here about. All right. Please let me know what questions you have about transcription or suggestions that you've found helpful. All right, so many of you have certainly transcribed things before. And, I think it would be useful if you could share some of your tips as well. So I certainly have some tips that I've used along the way, and so I'm sharing those now, but you might have some that are really useful as well. So that would be helpful to everybody. Okay, I'll put it back to full speed. So this is just kind of the process. We go. One, two, and three. Ba ba da da. Da 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 da. Three and a four. Da da. 4 and 1, 2 and. Cool. Okay, so that's a good like starting point, and so you just do the whole solo basically. So it takes some time, but it's a really worthwhile process, and this is really the number one thing I would say if you want to really take all the theory that we've been learning and all of the tunes and all of the different things, and apply them at the next level. This is how you would accumulate vocabulary or language, right? So now. All right, so let's skip ahead to the next step here, which is to kind of label it. So so what I've done here is I've put the chord changes in, which is one of the requirements for the project. All right, so what you'll notice is this first chord tone, or this first note, is on the 6th scale degree. Or you could think of it as the 13th in a jazz context. Or 6, 5, 1, 4, 3, 1, 5, 4, 5, 3, 1. So what's cool about this is it's all diatonic, right? So what you might do to label this is you might write something like F major scale. Something like that. Okay? And then, now here you have the flat 7 for the first time, so then you can kind of label this F mixolydian. So this, but you could also say, arpeggiate, to the 9th. So this is kind of what you'll do with your transcription a little bit, is because it goes 3, 5, 7, 9, back to 3, and then 13. So the 9th and 13th. Okay, so good question, Nick. How long would you like your transcriptions to be? Yeah, so I guess the whole idea is, because there are such wide variances of lengths of a transcription, I'd like you to do something that's the whole solo. So if you're, someone who's newer to it, that'll take a little bit more time, you would maybe consider doing like a shorter solo. So a couple of choruses or something. What I'm more concerned about is that it's at a good level for you. And so that's a little bit on the honor system, that, you'll pick something that's not too easy for you, but that challenges you, but also something that you'll be able to do with accuracy and really nail it, and get accurate notes and stuff, and then be able to, understand and analyze it. So, in short, I will let you decide how long you would like to transcribe. I mean, it should be longer than something like 8 bars or something, but like a full chorus of a tune or more. Or like, it could be a blues and it's like 2 choruses or something like that. But if you have any questions about like if it's an appropriate length, just feel free to send me a message and I'll try to help you with that. But unless it's like some tiny little nothing solo that's only 4 bars long or 8 bars long, you'll probably be fine. But I just want you to do the whole solo, okay? So, all right. So let's see. What am I missing here? Yeah. So the bracketed patterns. Okay. So when you do these 3 bracketed patterns, you'll basically like, let's just take this intro pattern. Let's say we're going to bracket that pattern. Cool. So that's pattern 1. All right. So then, what you would do is short descriptions for each of the 3 bracketed patterns. How do they fit against the chord? How can they use in other situations? Yeah, so I mean, you could, and that'll be part of the written, 1-page summary. You could say, it's fully diatonic. It's got a blues feel to it. It really emphasizes the 13th and also really establishes the tonic. And then you could say it's 6 5 1 4 3 1 5 4 5 3 1 of a F major scale, something like that. Because what's cool is that now we can say, hey, this will fit over anything that uses the major scale or a Mixolydian scale, because it doesn't really have a distinguished 7th. So now anytime you see an F7, you can play that. So let's say you have a tune that's in G7. Then you can just put it up a whole step by using the numbers 6 5 1. So like all your major scales. Well, you just apply the numbers 6 5 1 4 3 1. Etc., etc. So that's part of getting this musical vocabulary is isolating it out of the music and then using it for your practice. Okay. So we're trying to figure out the sort of how to reuse that idea in our own context sometime. Okay. Let's see. All right, and then, so if you have questions about this transcription, it should be, as long as you just follow the steps, you'll be fine. Like I said, if there are interpretive issues where I was expecting one thing, but you interpreted the requirement as another thing, I'll know, and I'll give, a lot of leeway with that. And then I just want you guys to finish the semester well and to not be super stressed, but to really learn from this as much as you can. And so that's what's most important to me. You've all proved that you're responsible and everything. So, all right. So lesson plan. So let me just give you an example of this. So I'm just going to kind of come up with a topic here. Let's just call it, I'm just going to open up a Word document. So teaching 2 5 1s, 1 progressions using how about oh, I see. Using Sunday Morning by Maroon 5. There we go. Okay, so if you go and, now this is an old song by anyone's standards at this point, but, students might know it. At the very least, it's much more recent than, most jazz standards. Ooh. That looks nice. What is those? Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Unlock the Cineverse. I love it. All right. Oh, shoot. I just told Maroon 5 Sunday morning. picked the wrong song and then stuck through the entire commercial. Okay. Here we go. So essentially, this whole tune is just a 2-5-1: D minor 7, G7, C major 7. So the lesson could be, okay. So we're gonna, let's see. So as we go through the questions, okay, who's the intended? So let's just copy and paste these into our file here. Okay, well that's funny. Little clovers. It's funny. Computers are just weird, goofy. All right, so all right. Who is this intended for? Let's just say beginners / intermediate improvisers. All right. Where is this intended to be taught? Let's just say any young jazz band or private lesson would work. I don't know. You can come up. That could be other. Honestly, this could work in a lot of different settings. But why is this an important topic or concept? What is it that students need to understand? And so you can give more thorough answers than this. But let's see. This topic is important because it is a fundamental building block of jazz harmony. Students will need to master and understand the 2-5-1 to be able to play over jazz tunes. Okay, step by step sequence. Okay, so this is where you'll kind of outline things. So I'm just gonna make this up on the spot here. So step 1. Okay, introduce song to students. Let's say step 2, stop recording after first note and have students find and sing the root. Okay, so that would mean we're going through and we're going bum, and then have everyone find it. Bum. Maybe have them find it on their instrument. Okay, now find it on your instrument. Bum. You know, it takes them a little while to figure it out. Then they find it. Okay, have them find that note on their instrument. Okay, then repeat that process for the 5 and the 1. So then the next thing would be go bum. Everyone sing that bum. Now find it on your instrument. Okay. Next one. Bum. So you get the idea. Okay, so then have them sing the whole phrase. 2, 5, 1, ba-da-dum, along with the recording. Transfer that to their instruments. And you can be more detailed or like more kind of instructive language than this, but this is just kind of a short example. Okay, now after that, what we can do is have them sing the 2, 5, and 1 along with the notes. So they're actually going to sing 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1. Have them sing do, re, mi, etc. Solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and then have them do, re, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, etc. And then connect that to the 2, 5, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Okay, so that's just an idea. And then have them play C major scale, concert pitch, and then show that all of those notes fit over the entire 2, 5, 1 progression. Okay, then have them solo all at the same time using that scale. Ask if anyone wants to solo by themselves, and then essentially, yeah, next or lesson concludes. So yeah, that might be something you do. And then as you do your video, you can just kind of demonstrate that and pretend you have a student there. Or if you have a roommate or friend or family member that wants to be your little student guinea pig in the video, you can do that. So I will try to send some just kind of further instruction in terms of how to deal with the video aspect of it. But I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to just conclude there. But I hope that's clear, and I hope that gives you an idea for what the last project will be. Again, I want you to pick something that you're inspired by, because that's going to be, the most fun to work on. It'll be the most motivating, and I think it'll be the most beneficial for you as well. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Let's say next week I will be on here at the normal time, and then we can kind of go through any questions you might have or any topics you want to go over. And I'm going to write a note to myself to kind of send a follow-up from this lesson about next week and about the project, and then I'll be in touch via email as soon as I can. All right, so my family has a couple things going on right now, so I can't do it right this second, but as soon as I can, I will do it. Okay, sounds good. Well, hey, you guys have a great week, and I look forward to seeing your projects. As soon as I can. All right, so my family has a couple things going on right now, so I can't do it right this second, but as soon as I can, I will do it. Okay, sounds good. Well, hey, you guys have a great week.